Am I the only one that didn't know what could have happened if the nuclear bombs were never dropped? The year is 1945. The world is engulfed in the most destructive war humanity has ever known. The scale of devastation is unprecedented, with entire nations brought to their knees. For 6 long years, the forces of fascism, led by Nazi Germany and Imperial Japan, have wreaked havoc across the globe. Millions lie dead, and countless more are wounded or displaced. Cities are reduced to rubble, their once vibrant streets now silent and desolate. The very soul of civilization hangs in the balance. Families are torn apart, and the future seems uncertain. By the summer of 1945, the tide of war had turned. The Allies had gained significant ground. Nazi Germany had been defeated, but the war in the Pacific raged on. The victory in Europe brought hope, but also a realization that the conflict was far from over. Japan, though battered and exhausted, showed no signs of surrender. The Japanese military was determined to fight to the last man. The fighting on islands like Iwo Jima and Okinawa had been ferocious, giving both sides a bitter taste of what a full-scale invasion of the Japanese mainland might look like. The cost in human lives was staggering. American forces, led by General Douglas MacArthur, prepared for what promised to be a long and bloody campaign. The strategy meetings were intense, with every detail scrutinized. The Japanese, for their part, were prepared to defend their homeland to the death, fueled by a potent mix of nationalism and militarism. Their resolve was unshakable. The stage was set for a final, cataclysmic showdown. Both sides braced for what could be the deadliest confrontation yet. As the summer of 1945 wore on, a new and terrifying weapon was being prepared in the deserts of New Mexico. This weapon had the potential to change the course of history. The Manhattan Project, a top-secret American effort to develop the atomic bomb, was nearing its culmination. Years of research and immense resources had been poured into this endeavor. The world stood on the brink of a new era, one where the power to destroy entire cities resided in a single bomb. The implications of this new technology were both awe-inspiring and terrifying, leaving humanity to grapple with the unthinkable choices that lay ahead. Stay tuned till the end to discover what could have happened if the nuclear bombs were never dropped. On August 6, 1945, the world changed forever. This date marked the beginning of a new and terrifying chapter in human history. An American B-29 bomber, the Enola Gay, dropped a single atomic bomb on the Japanese city of Hiroshima. This mission was meticulously planned and executed, forever altering the course of warfare. The bomb, nicknamed Little Boy, detonated with the force of 15,000 tons of TNT. The explosion was unprecedented in its sheer destructive power. The city was instantly incinerated. Buildings, homes, and lives were obliterated in a matter of seconds, leaving behind a landscape of utter devastation. 3 days later, on August 9th, a second atomic bomb, Fat Man, was dropped on the city of Nagasaki. This second attack compounded the horror and destruction. The devastation was equally horrific. Nagasaki, like Hiroshima, was reduced to rubble, and its people suffered unimaginable losses. The combined death toll from the two bombings reached an estimated 200,000 people. Many of the victims died instantly, while others succumbed to injuries and radiation sickness in the following days and weeks. The use of atomic bombs on Hiroshima and Nagasaki remains one of the most controversial acts in human history. It sparked intense debate over the ethics and necessity of such a devastating weapon. The bombings led to Japan's unconditional surrender on August 15, 1945, effectively ending World War II. This moment marked a significant turning point in global history. The atomic bombings ushered in a new era, one defined by the constant threat of nuclear annihilation. The world now faced the sobering reality of living under the shadow of nuclear weapons. The world now had to grapple with the chilling reality that humanity possessed the power to destroy itself. This new age brought with it a profound sense of responsibility and fear as nations navigated the delicate balance of power and peace. The decision to use atomic bombs on Japan was a complex one, fraught with moral and strategic considerations. It was a momentous choice that weighed heavily on the minds of those involved, including President Truman and his advisors. But what if President Truman had chosen a different path? What if he had decided against using the atomic bombs? What if the bombs had never been dropped? This question opens up a myriad of possibilities and alternate histories. The answer, like most historical hypotheticals, is shrouded in uncertainty, but it offers a fascinating glimpse into a world that might have been. It challenges us to think about the different paths history could have taken. If the bombs had not been dropped, it's highly likely that the war in the Pacific would have continued. The Japanese military, despite being on the brink of defeat, was prepared to fight to the bitter end. The United States, facing the prospect of a bloody and costly invasion of the Japanese mainland, might have opted for a different strategy. The invasion, known as Operation Downfall, was expected to result in significant casualties. A massive naval blockade, coupled with continued conventional bombing raids, was one option. This strategy aimed to cut off Japan's supplies and force a surrender through attrition. Another, more daring plan involved supporting a Chinese invasion of Japan, effectively opening a second front against the beleaguered nation. This would have required significant coordination and resources. However, the cost of either option would have been immense. The human toll, both military and civilian, would have been staggering. A protracted war would have meant countless more casualties on both sides, further devastating a region already ravaged by years of conflict. The suffering and destruction would have been prolonged. The human cost of such a scenario is almost unfathomable. The loss of life and the impact on future generations would have been profound. Beyond the immediate impact on the war, the decision to withhold the atomic bombs could have had profound geopolitical consequences. The balance of power in the post-war world might have shifted in unexpected ways. A world without the bomb might have been a very different place, for better or for worse. The development and use of nuclear weapons have shaped international relations and global politics in ways we're still grappling with today.